Welcome to 6 Minutes. Jason Fulmore, SE Wrestle, back again with Fat and Scrappy's Lucas Da Silva. If you saw the 3A, yes, we're just a continuation of what we were doing with 3A. I do, for those of you that are just going to 4A, I do want to give you a real quick background of kind of what we're doing and how we're doing it. We're going to talk a little bit about the favorites, kind of people to watch in each of the brackets. We'll flip over to the screens like this. And just to give you an idea, just very quickly, top and bottom are your two section champs. Your 2 and your 3 from that other section sit there. Your 2 and 3 from Colson Hoffman and Mason Persons are the 2 and 3 from Ollie Webb's section that he won. And they sit on the top facing the other section champ, assuming we get to that point. Mm-hmm. So Lucas, 106 in 4A. 4A is always fun. Very interesting. I'm a big fan of Ollie Webb, Southwest Whitfield. I watched him and Mason Persons both wrestle up at McCauley. Both freshmen, both wrestled extremely well. But Webb is probably one of the best 106s in the Southeast. I mean, probably one of the best 106s certainly one of the best 106s in Georgia. So talk to me a little bit about, do you agree with me that he's probably the favorite?
I haven't seen too much of Ollie Webb. What school is that he's from, if you may tell me?
Yeah, that's Southwest Whitfield.
Oh, that's Southwest Whitfield. Okay. I'm a little unfamiliar with his work, but I have heard good things about him. I think just one guy that, you didn't, not that you forgot to mention, but I mean, Tate Thomas is sitting there. He'll have a quarterfinal matchup with Guadrado, excuse me. Is that of Chestatee?
Yeah, that's correct.
I believe. Okay, yeah. So that should be a fun one. Peppers obviously can bang. We talked about Webb. Rollins can go too. Like this should be a fun bracket here at 106.
Yeah, I agree.
I will agree though that Ollie Webb is probably the favorite, odds on.
The thing that's really interesting is one of the things I really like about the smaller weight classes is this is where we get some freshmen in the mix. We get some newer faces. We don't necessarily know those faces quite as well because, I only focus on the high school kids. So, they come in and they have a lot of hype behind them from kind of their kid, level credentials. But coming into a state tournament as a freshman, it's a different ball game,
Oh, it absolutely is.
Some will excel. And some will kind of, have to figure some things out. But it'll be interesting. Yeah, definitely.
I'm excited to see how these freshmen, like we look at Ollie Webb, I want to see, can he handle Macon? Because if you've never been to the Macon Arena for state tournament, it is a battle of attrition. And I was lucky because duels were at Macon. So I got a taste of it in Macon for duels. I got to get used to those mats feeling like ice when you're warming up in the morning. Like, this is one of those things where Macon is a battle damn near more importantly against the arena than it is your opponent. No, like getting warmed up, getting in.
All the Macon people, Lucas doesn't hate Macon.
I don't actually. I like the arena. For me, Macon was always a fun arena. It was a chance to test myself in a terrible arena. Like, it was beautiful. I loved it. No, like it is
nothing like a backhanded compliment there.
Oh, it's not good for wrestling, but it has character for wrestling, so I like it. I'm miffed I never got to wrestle in Gwinnett. I'm PO'd about that, but I do like the Macon Arena. It's a war of attrition. It really is. So I'm intrigued to see the freshmen. I am. It's interesting.
Let's jump over to 113. And again, I'll just give a little bit of background to start. Hadley and Wynn are the two section champs. I think Nguyen was they're both state placers, returning state placers. Diallo is the section runner-up. Kazienko, is that how you say it?
Kazenko.
Okay, is the runner-up from Hadley's sectional. All of them have state tournament experience. Some of them have state tournament experience and making the podium. So do you have a favorite here, and who is it?
I love me some of Tyler Wynn, man. That kid. Sorry guys, I had a class this morning, but it was a later class, so I slept in, so I didn't really eat much. But Tyler Wynn
he's cutting weight anyway. No, I'm just kidding. He's not cutting weight.
Yeah, no, hell no. I am a big fan of Tyler Wynn. The kid can bang, super smart in the way that he moves. Lots of efficient movement at him, even in scramble situations. I do know Hadley. I probably have seen him more. You know what's funny about Hadley? I guarantee I've seen him more than I think I have. But if I had to pick a favorite, it'd be Wynn. Hey, and if I had to pick a dark horse, let me tell you something. That Bryson Topley kid out of West Lawrence, he's a little inconsistent, but when he's on his game, he's a tough one.
Yeah, so I think actually that's a pretty good kind of under the radar pick, at least for me. I think obviously was a key component to West Lawrence in their run to a dual state title, being in those experiences. I mean, that's one of the things that I don't think we can understate is that, if you're a part of a Jefferson or a Columbus or a West Lawrence or some of these teams who had big matches on the line in state duels, as opposed to, maybe a kid who's, from a school that didn't have those types of matches and they went to some other tournament that weekend and they got their matches, but they didn't have the level of intensity that is. It
is a different feeling when it's different walking into a state semifinal up 2-1 and the crowd going ballistic and you cannot let this dude get to your legs, because if he gets to your legs, the arena is going to blow the roof off the place. And you're going to be – Macon is terrible at holding momentum in the sense of if a kid starts getting momentum and a crowd starts getting behind it in a big match, it's going to keep rolling and rolling, and it's going to be tough to stop that. And that's why those guys that have had those big matches are going to be super – they're going to have a huge advantage.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. All right, so – let's jump to 4A 120. Defending 106-pound champ, Chaz McDonald. Jefferson sits here. But an intriguing wrestler here is Adam Payton, who was at Etowah last year in 7A, state qualifier in 7A, has come down to Cedartown, and he beat.
And it's had a good season.
And he beat Jonathan McDaniel, who was the runner-up to McDonald last year. Obviously he's somebody to watch, but is McDonald still the favorite?
I would say so. I'd say currently he's the only one with a ring in the group. But I mean, Jonathan McDaniel, he gets a shot at revenge in the semifinals. And if you're Jonathan McDaniel and you're writing a storybook, look at this for a possible story. You get to slay past Demons of Macon. You get to the finals, and then you got a shot against Adam Payton, who took you down in sectionals. If you're him, this has got to be a huge motivating moment because you're playing with house money. You got losses to both these kids. Who cares? Just go let it loose. Go try to put 45 points on the board. Just go have fun. But if you're Chaz McDonald, you're trying to go back-to-back. And it's in a bracket with tough guys that have given you a run before. I do think Chaz is still the favorite, but this is not a open and shut case.
Okay. I love the way you put that because, again, I agree with you, which we're agreeing a little more than we should. But we'll find a couple to disagree about. How's that?
Oh, no, we will. No, we will.
All right. 126, Davis Dollar, McDonald's teammate at Jefferson. I think he's returning champ.
I do.
Yeah. And beat Range from Chesadee, which is a really good wrestler.
Yes, Eli Raines can go.
Yeah, Aiden Ingram is the other sectional champ. So give me a little bit about this bracket.
So this bracket's fascinating to me because everybody in the bracket, no disrespect to Tony Serrano and I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that Blake brother's first name. Everybody in the bracket's got 30 some odd wins. These are proven winners that can go get wins at the varsity level. You look at Dylan Gonzalez at Pickens, 39-7. Sean Morales at a Whitfield, 35-10. Victor Johnson, 37-14. Gabe Turd, what in the hell, 38-11. Like, these guys know how to win. Now, of course, level competition is always in question in the state of Georgia, but I am very excited for a possible Raines Ingram semifinal. That match is popcorn approved. That match is popcorn approved. That's going to be a fun one. I'm super excited for that match if it were to happen. But I really like Davis Dollar, man. That kid is good. That kid is super good.
So I'm gonna throw out one name, and that is Wyatt Anderson, north of Coney, that I think is a little under the radar. And I'm not. I mean, Reigns should win and get to the semis against Ingram, but this is one of those situations where you can't get caught looking ahead.
No.
You can't look ahead against who am I going to have in the semis? Who am I going to have in the finals? Who am I going to have here? Because those types of situations can only spell doom. Got to focus on that next match.
We see it happen at every state tournament where there's a kid that looks ahead. It happen every year.
Yeah. Well, I think it probably happened to me when I was wrestled, way back during, Greek and Roman times. Anyway.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
All right. So
stone tablets as brackets.
Exactly. We chiseled those suckers out.
There was no classes. It was school.
4A132. We get Austin back from Colorado.
Shout out Austin Field.
Yes. Doesn't have a ton of matches. I think he was a little banged up after the fall wrestling, but he's now back and he ran through his section. But you got Thomas Termini up top, with and Marist. So give me a little bit of breakdown.
I'm unfamiliar with Thomas Termini's work. I know he's good. I have seen him. He has some good wins on the season. I just haven't personally seen him. I obviously know who Austin Thiel is. Shout out Thiely baby out of Perry. Thiel is the heavy favorite to me. Again, I'm not going entirely open and shut. I'm going to throw a name out there to you.
Okay.
He lost to Thomas Termini in the sectional finals, but I have had the opportunity to work with D'Angelo Pruitt when he came down to Bruton Parker a handful of times. That kid can bang, and his style matches up in a really similar way with Austin. So I would love to see him get to the semis against Austin and see that test for him.
Okay. All right. But again, Pruitt can't look past possibly a Dom Lasher or a Camp Boston or them. So
yeah, that's problematic. Yeah, he needs to be ready to go in the quarters.
Yeah, but I'm glad you brought that up because I don't think there's a lot of people who know Pruitt necessarily, and I like the analysis of a similar type of style. That will be fun to watch, I would think.
Lots of counters, lots of elbow control that's going to be leading to passes and slides and ducks. D'Angelo is super shifty. And what I mean by that is picture Gale Sayers in wrestling singlet. Like the way that he moves and finds angles and cuts is just super fascinating to watch his mind move. And Thiel's really similar, but we also know that Thiel can send you for 55 points. So it should be a fun match.
All right, so we now jump to 138, and this is something I alluded to at the end of the 3A, where we begin to see a little bit of separation of some of the top wrestlers. They don't all end up kind of being in the same weight class. Now, to be fair, we're going to get to Davis Dendy and Creed Thomas, and they're both on the same team, so they obviously have to separate. But, it is interesting that from 38 to 70, it looks like we have some pretty established favorites.
Yes. Bo Burnett here is your heavy favorite.
And returning state champ, maybe defending at 38. I don't know if he wrestled 38 last year or not, but certainly, looked fantastic in winning sectionals and winning state last year.
And Tyree, I can't say his last name ever, but sure. I've seen him wrestle. The kid can go. He's not bad. He can wrestle. I'm going to throw a guy out there, Team Fat and Scrappy member Cody Lee. He's a senior. I love the kid. Wily, weird style, a little inconsistent. I will be 100% honest with you, but if he has his day in Macon, you'll see him on the podium somewhere. He can go, but I do think this is Bo Burnand's weight to lose. The kid is a hammer.
He is a hammer. And this is one of those things in my fans guide that somebody can go on and read at the website, I talked about how this is actually the part where I get a little frustrated with Georgia because there's so many classifications, because I really would like to see how Bernand matches up with the other 38s in the other classifications, because he is really, really good. I just haven't seen him wrestle Pannone. I haven't seen him wrestle, some of the others. So that's my only frustration as it relates to that.
Yeah. And it's just one of those things where this is the reality of Georgia. And
right.
I mean,
it is what it is, right?
I'm not going to get on my GHSA soapbox just yet.
Okay. Well,
but it will happen.
But we will move to 4A 145. And I think we would agree Davis Dendy is the favorite in the bracket.
Yes.
But there's some names that are really interesting throughout this bracket that you should keep an eye on. Please.
I mean, obviously, my eyes get drawn to Sam Lynch.
Lesh,
excuse me. I've seen some results out of him. The kid can go. Super tough on his feet from what I hear. And then is it Landon Phillips?
Landon Phillips. I actually think that his first, I don't know if it's Landon. I think Georgia Grappler has a different first name, but we're going to go with Landon Phillips of Northwest Whitfield. Certainly he's for me is one to definitely watch.
Yeah, I would agree. I would tend to agree that he's one to watch in this bracket as well.
I want to watch the little Sheffield. So Andrew Sheffield, freshman from Central Carroll, sits in the bracket, took third. I don't know how he'll kind of play out as we go along, but
I mean, he gets a test early against Alex Stoudenmeyer, who is, I believe, a senior and has kind of been an elder statesman in the weight class. He's been at 45 like for 3 years, I think. And you look at his record; his record's deceiving because East Hall wrestles a good schedule. So the problem is he has a really deceiving record. 16-14 will make you think he's kind of a mid-tier. He can wrestle. I'm not gonna say he's gonna go win a state title, but Alex Stoudenmeyer can wrestle and will test the young freshman out of Central Carroll.
So I don't want to get on a soapbox either, but I think you should throw out records in terms of an indication of how good or how not good someone is. They are an indicator. I'm not saying they're not, but I know plenty of wrestlers who might come in with 8, 9, 10 losses, go to the Southern Slam, go to the knockout, go to different places. They wrestle some of the top level competition within reach.
Yeah.
And they'll have 8, 9, 10 losses, but they're not an 8, 9, 10 loss if they had a different schedule.
No, I agree. No, I agree 100% that it's always tough when, and this really is a problem that boils back down to having 7 classes because we don't see similar competition. It's really the only thing that we can use for like seeding purposes and things of that nature.
Right.
It's really problem. I agree with you though that a record doesn't make a wrestler.
Right, and we've seen the opposite occur. I mean, we've seen kids come in who are completely undefeated, but they have not had the level of competition.
Yeah, no.
All right. So let's jump to 152, where I've already alluded to Creed Thomas from Jefferson. I think he was second last year at 160. But I am a fan of Drake Wood from West Lawrence.
I am too, actually. I do like him. I've seen him wrestle a handful of times. Super solid. Yeah.
And what do you think of the rest of the bracket? Is it Thomas versus Wood in the final, or are we going to see somebody else kind of step up?
I'm going to throw a name out there, and that name is Matthew Bond. I've seen him wrestle a couple times.
Okay.
I like what I see out of him. I believe he was a state blood rounder last year. He's a stingy guy. He's tough, physical. I think him and Drake Wood should make for a wild semifinal.
Okay. So I agree with that. I actually like Navarro as well, from Cedartown. So that will be another name to kind of keep an eye on. But those are your sectional champs and sectional runners up at 152. Although, I mean, we're in agreement. Creed Thomas is the definite favorite.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. All right. So let's jump to 160. A kid I really like, Seth Larson from Flowery Branch, who won last year as a freshman. Fantastic final. It was so much fun to watch. And really, in my opinion, is significantly better than the field at 160. Not saying I don't hand out medals before the tournament begins, but Larson placed at the knockout. I mean, you know, and you're doing something I don't think they can see you.
Yeah. Like, okay. But I mean, in all honesty, like, and this is no disrespect to Cat Benson, to Evan Wingrove, to a David Washington, no disrespect to them, but they are just in this bracket. They are outmanned and outgunned. Seth Larson is legit. Seth Larson is like my little brother. I've seen this kid for years. I remember him at the compound. I remember him at round, like, I remember him at Yates. Like, this kid has done nothing but got better, and the sky is genuinely the limit for Seth Larson. I'm going to make the comparison. Seth Larson reminds me in a lot of ways of a young me. Gamer, willing to throw everything, the kitchen sink, the vanity, the piping, and the mirror at you. He is not scared of the moment. Ice water in his veins. I love that kid. He reminds me a lot of me in the best ways. That kid, he's legit. He is legit for sure. I think, again, no disrespect to the other guys in the bracket. They're just outgunned here. Like,
I agree. All right. So let's jump up to 170, where we've seen Tyler Sequoy, All-American in Fargo, wrestled exceptionally well last year as a freshman, placed third. Again, another really probably better than everyone else. Now, I will say I haven't seen Cooper Bachman wrestle from Islands. I don't see much of them at all. Caden Inman from Flowery Branch. He's probably the wrestling partner with Larson, so he's going to be able to go.
No, he is. I have that on good authority. He is.
And so, you know, but I think, again, you know, Tyler Sequoy is, I mean, he's what, 46-3. I mean, I saw one of his losses was to Killick. I mean, as Lucas is destroying his desk.
Hold on. No, because my computer's about to die. Hold on. I throw my charger in. Why ain't it charging? Son of a... Hold on.
All right.
Technical difficulties on my side. All right, we're good.
Okay.
As I was saying, yes, I agree 100%. Yeah. Tyler Sequoy is a hammer. He's all-American. The dude can wrestle from all phases. He can wrestle in all positions. He is a stud. And he is the favorite for a reason.
Okay. Let's go to 182, where we have, I think it's the defending champ at 182. Nolan Posibone. Is that how you say Posibone?
I don't know, but he is your reigning and defending champion at 182. I mean, he's a stud. I've seen him wrestle a couple times. And I will say one thing about Islands is I have heard a lot of good about Bogman. I've heard good things. But
okay. So you went back to 170.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that, but yes, I have heard good things about him. But I mean, Caden Snell can wrestle. We saw it at duels. Snell can wrestle. So that should be a fun finals match.
And we're jumping to that being the finals. And again, I think it's important to say there's no disrespect to everyone else in the bracket.
Oh yeah, I was setting in 3A, not here.
But the thing is you get spread out, and you know, you look at how they performed at sectionals and what they did at sectionals, and you can just see that if that continues on, they're better than everyone else. Now, it doesn't mean that they're going to be better on Thursday or Friday or Saturday.
That currently, from what we've seen, they have better performances, and that makes me believe that they will get there.
All right, so let's jump up to 4A 195. We got our section champs being Luke Cochran and Evan Guyton. Wes Lawrence, talk a little bit about this bracket.
That's a fun bracket. Luke Cochran. I'll talk a little bit about Luke Cochran because I've known him for years. He he was a kid that when he first came into compound, a lot of us thought, oh, there's going to be nothing there. And now we look at him years later. The dude is a bona fide hammer. He has a real opportunity to go win himself a state title. And this is where I'm going to throw, a Kale Rockenbach.
I think that's right.
Rockenbach. I do believe they told me how to say that when I went up to Flowery Branch. Another guy, shout out Team Fat and Scrap member Kevin Gonzalez from last season. 2010, he's been banged up a little bit, so that 2010 is a little deceiving. But either way, I just really like this bracket as a whole. Evan Guyton, by the way, super stud. Tough kid. I like that bracket. I would say Cochran is the favorite because he did beat Guyton. Right? He did beat him. I'm not losing my mind, right?
I don't know. You were talking earlier this year?
Yeah, I think he has a win over him. It could be wrong.
He probably does. I wouldn't be.
But either way,
me at all.
Yeah, I do think he has. Someone can fact check me on that. I think he has a win over him because when I was looking at duels and I was trying to figure out the matchups.
Got it. One name I think that everybody should pay attention to is Jaden Santiago from Northwest Whitfield.
Yes.
Wrestled Guyton. I believe he wrestled him very tough at sectionals. That's a potential. That's a potential semifinal match for Cochran. So can't look ahead, can't jump ahead, but definitely Cochran I think is the favorite. So let's jump to maybe my favorite, probably my favorite weight class in 4A, and that is 220.
Oh, I see why it's your favorite. Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Yep. So you got Sammy Brown, who was a state runner-up in 1A last year at Commerce.
Yes, you are correct. Yes.
Caleb Nicholson, who was I believe a state placer for Pickens, who's unbeaten. Ashton Hefner, who took second in I think a really good match with Brown in the sectional finals.
Yeah, no, from what I heard, that was a good match. By the way, I only just made the connection. Notice how Jefferson and Commerce kind of traded Brown and Hoke, how that kind of worked, how they kind of both – that's kind of funny how that worked out. But
yeah.
I just thought about that, actually, when you said it. I was like, oh, yeah, he did come from Commerce, didn't he?
He did. So, and then you look at the rest of the bracket, and the rest of the bracket is also really good. They're not, they've got some really good names. They've got some – They've wrestled a lot of.
I'm gonna throw a guy out there that I really do like. I've seen him wrestle a couple times. Kid had a Hardaway. Bias.
Yeah, I believe it's
27-5 on the year freshman. I saw him in middle school. He's a kid I've had my eye on for a year or two. I do like him a lot. He can go. Don't be surprised if you see him on the podium.
I agree. And it's always fun to get a freshman up at 220,
I think he gave Brown a solid match at sectionals. I think. I could be mistaken, but I think whoever won his section, he hit in the quarters and gave him a solid run. It wasn't a total annihilation.
All right. So let's jump up to Big Mama. And what are you playing music?
Wolfpack, baby. NC State. NC State Wolfpack, Chase Horn. I mean, across from him sits Team Fat and Scrappy member Caleb Pruitt.
Right.
So he's got Fat and Scrappy love, but it's Chase Horn.
Yeah. So again, I think everyone who is listening to this, and they know 4A, they know the best kids in the state. But for the background, for anyone who doesn't know, Chase has won multiple state titles. I think he's going to go for it as what?
Fourth.
Is it his fourth?
I think.
Okay. I don't know.
Who did he lost to?
I don't know. Sorry, Chase. I don't know. But I will say this, okay? And the thing that I'm going to say is that Chase is not just the best 285 in Georgia, not the best 285 in the Southeast. He is one of the top 3 best 285s in the country. He is fantastic as a heavyweight. and takes routinely very good heavyweights and beats them like it's nothing. And
as Cliff Fretwell would say on his rope blow predictions, powder the knuckles, wipe them off, unpowdered knuckles first, just murking people, murking very good heavyweights across the country, like it's nothing, and it's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. So, I think that Chase is one of the top 3 biggest favorites in Macon.
Yeah.
I think Henson is probably the biggest favorite. Singleton and Horn can fight it out for 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Somebody might disagree with me. We don't hand out medals beforehand, but it would be a surprise if Chase Horn didn't take another title.
And did it by tech pinning everybody if he wanted to, because he could.
Right. But he'll probably just pin everyone and that'll be done.
In 20 seconds.